What if I told you that one of the most powerful tools for recording massive kick drums was literally just a speaker wired in reverse? Today, I'm going to show you how to build a Subkick mic for well under $100. This is the secret weapon that the professional studios use to get those earth-shaking, chest-thumping, low frequencies that separate amateur recordings from professional mixes. You want to know the best part? You probably have more than half the parts sitting around in a drawer somewhere. Before we start building, let me explain what a Subkick is and how it actually works. A Subkick uses a speaker wired in reverse to act as a microphone. Now this might sound strange, but microphones and speakers are basically the same thing. They're both transducers that convert energy from one form to another. A regular speaker takes electrical signals and moves the cone to create sound waves. When you wire a speaker backwards, it does the opposite. Sound waves hit the cone and generate electrical signals just like a dynamic microphone. Now here's the interesting part. The Subkick doesn't just capture low frequencies. It actually resonates at its own frequency, which is determined by the speaker's characteristics. Hugh Robjohns from Sound on Sound magazine describes it as an air-actuated sound synthesizer rather than a traditional microphone. The large speaker cone has a lot of mass and poor damping, so when a kick drum hits it with a burst of air, it rings out at its natural resonant frequency, which is usually somewhere around 50 to 80 Hertz. When you blend a Subkick with your regular kick drum mic, you get an incredible depth and power in that sub-bass range that really makes your kick punch through a mix. So here's what you'll need. A 6, 8, or 10-inch speaker. Car audio speakers or guitar cab speakers work great. One sacrificial XLR cable. Soldering iron and solder. Wire cutters. And whatever mounting hardware you're going to be using, you can use a mic stand, an old drum shell, or even a tom or snare stand. The speaker is the most important part. I'm using a 6.5-inch speaker out of an old practice amp. Whatever you do, don't overthink this. Pretty much any speaker will work, although each speaker will have its own sound characteristics and resonant frequencies. The classic choice is a Yamaha NS10 woofer because that's what Jeff Emmerich used in the 60s on the Beatles records, but like I said, pretty much any speaker will work. Here's the key thing to know. We need to wire this speaker to an XLR connector, but there's some confusion out there about the correct way to do it, so let me clear this up. The most straightforward approach is to connect the speaker's positive terminal to XLR pin 3 and the speaker's negative terminal to XLR pin 2. Pin 1, which is the ground, can either connect to the speaker's metal frame, or you can leave it disconnected at the speaker end while keeping it connected at the XLR end for shielding. One important note, you can wire this either balanced or unbalanced. For a simple unbalanced connection, some people just wire it to a 1/4-inch jack and run it into a DI box instead of using an XLR. This works too. Now let's do the actual wiring. If you're using an XLR cable like me, just disassemble the connector to reveal the wires. From here, we can simply just heat the solder leads with our soldering iron to release the wires from the connector, or cut them and strip the wires like you see me doing here. Be patient and let your iron get nice and hot before this to ensure we're making things easier on ourselves. Connect one signal wire to the positive speaker terminal and the other signal wire to the negative terminal. The shield can go to the speaker frame or be left disconnected. I'm going to leave mine disconnected. Take your time here and make sure you have good, solid solder joints. A cold solder joint will just cause problems later. Now here's something important to note. The Subkick's output is very hot. Much hotter than a traditional microphone. This is because speakers generate a lot of voltage when they're hit with high sound pressure levels. Let's talk about managing that hot signal. And luckily, we have a few options. Option 1. Use your preamp's pad switch. Most interfaces and preamps have a negative 20 dB pad that can handle the Subkick's output. Start with your gain all the way down and the pad engaged. Option number 2. Use an inline pad between your Subkick and your preamp. You can buy these or build one with resistors. Typically, a 10k ohm resistor in series with pin 2 and a 1k ohm resistor across pins 1 and 2 will give you about 20 dB of attenuation. Option number 3, you can plug it straight into a line input on your interface or use a DI box. many people successfully use this method. All right, let's test this thing. I'm connecting it to my preamp. Remember, engage that pad, turn the gain down to start, and be ready for that hot signal. Position it 2 to 6 inches from the kick drum's front head. Listen to that beef. Now let me show you what happens when we blend it with a regular kick mic. The Subkick gives you this deep resonance, but it lacks the attack and definition. The regular mic has the click and punch, but lacks the sub-bass weight. Together? Perfect. Now here's some quick tips. Positioning. Experiment with distance and angle. Closer doesn't always mean better. The Subkick's resonance could sound better with a little bit of space. Number 2, blending. In your mix, try high passing your regular kick mic and low passing your Subkick so they complement each other. Number 3, phase. Always check phase. Compare the sound with or without the polarity flip on your Subkick. If it sounds thin or hollow, flip the phase. And finally, number 4, keep your expectations realistic. This isn't capturing your true low frequencies of your kick drum. It's adding its own resonant character. Think of it as a creative tool instead of an accurate microphone. And that's it. You just built a Subkick for a fraction of what the commercial ones cost. If you found this helpful, hit that like and subscribe button for more DIY recording projects. If you have any questions, drop them down below. Thanks for hanging out at Sekret Studios. See you in the next session.